Oh,
All right, my man, state your name. Let them know you on Nickavelli TV.
Raymond Melendez, we're on Nickavelli TV.
That's what's up. Knick fan.
Yeah,
How long you been a Knick fan, sir?
like 10 years already.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your favorite player is?
Right now, Barrett, but originally Allen Houston.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brung up Allen Houston,
Yeah.
of all players. Now, don't get me wrong, he was a great player.
Yeah.
But do you think he was worth the money that they gave him?
No.
And do you think that was part of the curse concerning the New York Knicks when we start giving players money, too much money?
Yeah. They focus too much on one player with the contract that inflates the whole salary cap, and then it doesn't work out. They need to gain, players that are like mid-level or at least like, good shooters, and then you could, go from there. But like the Carmelo, that was great to have, or Amarie Stoudemire to have, but...
Now, how do you feel about Amarie and Carmelo playing together? Now, Amarie came first.
Yeah.
How exciting was that when you saw Amarie face on the billboard?
Yeah. You see a big name and you're like, oh shit, they came over here from Phoenix Suns and all that, and you think that one player is gonna carry the team, but once Carmelo came, Amarie was already injured, or like he was like kind of declining a little bit. So Knicks usually get a big player, but it's either too late or they're past their prime or some shit. So, if they could do that now, get a player that's like, still in their prime, or just is willing to play for New York just for the name, and it'd be like, fuck all the media and this and that, then that's good. But a prime player, like getting back Melo, I don't think get back Melo. He's going to stay in Portland. But, yeah, seeing those two names together, I'm like, that should be enough.
But do you think they coexisted? Do you think there was a clash between them two, a little animosity?
Yeah,
And why you think so?
Amarie was down low, Melo was the mid-range, but Amarie was supposed to be the guy in New York. And then Melo comes in and he makes Amarie the number 2 guy. So then I feel like their egos didn't really match well. So, to score, you got to have the ball in one person's hand. Pass it around. It wasn't a good 1-2. So if they can get a good point guard, small forward, and then a decent center, then maybe the ball will go around more. But Amarie and Carmelo, that didn't really work so well.
Okay, now this was around the time when we had a player like Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
That was sweet. When I went to Canal Street, I was big on my seafood.
Yeah.
And at that time, if you had a Knick cap and you went and bought some crab and lobsters and all that other good shit, which I don't eat anymore, by the way, they was happy to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Jeremy Lin had gotten the short end of the stick from coming off his couch and being drafted to the New York Knicks because Melo was there? Because once again, some will say that Melo was kind of jealous of Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or do you just think that man had to earn his stripes coming off that couch?
I felt like the Knicks, they had him. He sparked up the whole team and the whole insanity stuff. And I felt like they should have kept him, because if he's hot, you don't get rid of a hot player. You know what I mean? And he literally did nothing for him to get the boot. You know what I mean? It's just they were like, it was all politics, I feel like, with him. With Porzingis, that's more understandable because he's like, oh, I want off the team. Jeremy Lin, he didn't want to be off the team. He's like, I'm here. I want to play wherever I'm wanted,
Correct.
The Knicks didn't want him, and they just let him go. So then, he went team to team, playing elsewhere, and now he's like playing in China or something. But, he still wants to make an NBA comeback, and the Knicks should have, they get someone hot, and then they let him go.
Right.
Well, they want to get someone that was hot, and then he's not it.
Right.
So they, even Gallinari.
Okay.
He was there. He was like, okay, boom, goes to the Nuggets or whatever the team, and he's hot. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to have a better scouting system or faith in their players, so that give them a little longer time. Like even Frank Ntilikina.
I'm glad you mentioned Frank Ntilikina.
Then they're like, he's not confident enough. Now they're like, oh, we want him to be the number 1 point guard. Get rid of Dennis Smith Jr.
Think that's a smart move?
I think Frank's coming along, because it does take some time for a rookie to get hot. But
are you big on his defense?
Yes, he's got long arms and he's quick on his feet. He does look a little stiff, but he's good on the defense. Dennis Smith is too small. He's fast, but he looks scared to play defense. Frank is more defense oriented, and he's coming around to his shooting. So I think it was smart to stay on. Don't get rid of him. People were like, get rid of Frank. Bring in some Chris Paul. Bring in, they were trying to get this guy.
LaMelo?
No, from Portland Trailblazers. Oh, maybe we can get Damian Lillard. Like they're trying to go for a bigger name, but like stay with Frank. I wonder what they're gonna do in the free agency. Like keep the same team or make a couple of moves in terms of veteran players. But I know they need more shooting.
But let me ask you something, because you said something quite interesting. You said that Dennis Smith Jr. is afraid to play defense.
Yes.
I'm going to flip the coin on that. All right? Do you think Frank Ntilikina is afraid to play offense?
Yes. He was afraid the first 2-3 years. I think he's already in his 4th year now. 3rd or 4th. He was very... I actually went to the Garden. I saw them play, and I'm like, bro, you're the point guard. You're supposed to be running the ship, and if you need to score a basket within the shot clock, go for it. He would always... I know he's always thinking in his head, like, which is the best play to make. He's always trying to pass the ball, right? He's being a facilitator. But then for today's NBA, you need him to be a killer. You need to be a scorer. Like Russell Westbrook, he's too much of a scorer, not enough passer. Chris Paul, good balance. For us, our point guard issue has always been, Stephon Marbury, this and that. But, Raymond Felton. But Frank, he's coming around to the offense, so he needs to take the shot more. And he's been working on his, his 3-pointers and all that.
Right.
He needs to gain more confidence. So I feel like this season, the full season, hopefully if they have one, they could actually see him progress.
Now I'm gonna go back a little. You said something about Chris Porzingis not wanting to be here.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that when he started acting bougie, as I would say?
Yeah.
He became the snake
of
New York. He's the only player that got an extension contract, and it still wasn't enough to keep him in the Big Apple. Do you think Chris Porzingis was too soft to begin with? Maybe the kid during the draft night when he was crying knew something the whole city of New York didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't understand why the kid was crying.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then Chris Porzingis got booed during draft night when he came in.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
First season, he had a point to prove. He was like, he got booed. He's playing with Melo. So he was like, looking up to Melo.
Right.
And of course, your rookie season, you're nervous and all this stuff. But the second season...
He wanted to be the #1 option.
Yeah. Melo leaves. And then he's like, he scores. It's good, but he's too tall. And his legs is a liability. So he ends up injured. And then he handled being on the bench and being out that whole year poorly. You know what I mean? I know he's like, I'm working to come back, this and that. But if he really wanted to be in New York, he would have said, I'm injured, but wait till I get back. Not, I want to leave and, play elsewhere. He got traded because what employer is going to keep you on a unit that you're already talking like, I want to leave, trade me, this and that. The loyalty is not there.
Okay, and you see what it cost us, right?
Yeah.
It cost us Trey Burke,
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr.,
Yeah.
and Courtney Lee.
Yes.
Out of them 3 players that got caught up in the snake bullshit,
Yeah.
which player you missed the most?
Okay, so when they first signed Tim Hardaway Jr. for like $74 million or something like that, I was like, what the hell are they thinking? But then I saw him play and I was like, okay, he had the confidence to try to, I'm going to be that guy. But then the one that I missed the most, at first I would have said Courtney Lee because he was a 3-point shooter, but he's too quiet and he like kind of fades in the back. He's just a bench player. Trey Burke is the one that I missed the most. He was fast. He had, he had enough confidence to run up, do the layup, do what you got to do. But I feel like Trey Burke would have been a good secondary person for Frank.
Even over Dennis Smith Jr.?
That's the thing, too. Everybody was mad that we took Frank instead of Dennis Smith. But just like Porzingis, Dennis Smith is injured prone. What sucks is You get a player that's injured. Do you have faith in him to come back from that injury?
You saying that
stronger?
Frank Ntilikina's injury prone?
No, Dennis Smith.
Okay,
Dennis
but what
Smith.
about Frank Ntilikina grown injury?
That's true. That's true.
Huh?
Everybody. That's the shit. It's so hard. Their organization has to figure out who will be the best projected talent. And maybe this year they're not even going to sign a point guard. They're just going to keep Frank and Dennis and see what they do with that.
All right.
Hope that, they don't get injured.
And with that being said, man, I want to thank you for coming on Nickavelli TV, dropping them jewels that New York fans need to hear. And with that, we out. Peace.